A call to order the regular meeting of the City of Aransas Pass City Council, December 16, 2019, at 6 p.m. Let's all rise for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Dear Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the privilege, my Father, that we have to serve our community. We ask your blessings upon us, my Father, as we get ready to celebrate your birth, my Father. Remember the blessings that you've bestowed upon each and every one of us, Lord. I pray your guidance upon us, the City Council. We make the right decisions for our residents. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we're going to go to House Bill 2840, approved by the 86th Legislature, states that governmental bodies shall allow each member of the public who desires to address the body regarding an item on an agenda may do so either before or during considering of the item. Citizens who wish to speak on an agenda item will have an opportunity to address the body before the item is discussed and will be given a 3-minute time limit to make their comments. And now we're going to go to presentations and proclamations, which will be the presentation by Tri-County Christian Service Center, Mr. Scott Miller, the manager.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Scott Miller. I'm the manager of the Tri-County Christian Service Center. I've been there since August. We have 20 volunteers that work in our facility. Our volunteers are the backbone of our facility. We couldn't do what we do without them. There's volunteers in here tonight, I noticed, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Our facility is a nonprofit facility, and we provide food, clothing, and assistance to the needy in this community. The needy is far-reaching, whether it's you're unemployed or homeless or you're just sick. We have an answer for that. We really like to help everyone that we can. Our hours, our operation for the public are Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 8 to 11. And the other days of the week, the volunteers and myself go pick up the food and process it to be handed out for those days. Our facility handles about 9,000 pounds of food a month that we give out. And last month we had 848 persons coming into our facility that needed help. At the end of the day, we're all just neighbors helping each other out, and it's our pleasure to do so. And as far as volunteering goes, I'm inviting everyone here to please come by. I'll give you a tour, and maybe there'll be a spot for you. You never know. If you can't lift, we have athletes. If you can't walk, I have a desk. There's a place for you, I promise you. This Friday, we have a turkey giveaway for the residents of Aransas Pass and Ingleside. That's due to the generosity of some local businesses here. And again, we only have 200, and when they're gone, they're gone. But it'll be from 9 to 11 this Friday. And if you all have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Do y'all have a Facebook page?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a Facebook page?
We're on Facebook.
Okay.
And our address is 323 North 7th Street, which means I'm about 5 blocks behind you right here. And we've been there a long, long time. I'm just the newest manager and blessed to be there. We took a hit during Harvey, but we're back strong. And please, come by. You'll love what you see. I promise you. And it's our pleasure.
All right.
Well, thank you all very much for all your services.
Thank you. Merry Christmas. God bless.
Bless.
Mayor,
Wait.
may I tell 2 things to Mr. Miller with the permission of your, thank you. Mr. Miller, I'm the city attorney. I'm also the city prosecutor.
Okay.
And I know that the municipal court judge and I often face defendants who are unable to pay their citations. and they requested you community service to pay off the ticket. Your organization has accepted our defendants over the course of several years, and we appreciate that. Thank you so much for allowing them the opportunity to pay back the community.
Thank you. And some of those have turned out to be volunteers after their time was up and turned out to be the best volunteers.
That's good.
I actually hear those stories frequently from the defendants that come back to report back in. They love your place.
Thank you.
Now, the second thing I want to tell you is not so long ago, as short as 2 months ago, I did have a defendant come into the courtroom to speak to me involving a citation. The offense does not matter, but the person who came in was a very skinny, young, but adult person. And the person immediately said to me, "I'm so hungry." So the priority became to make sure that she got some food. And we went into action and contacted Tri-County, and believe it or not, you guys are the ones who saved the day. She resolved her citation by donating volunteer time to your company, but at your organization. But you also fed her that night immediately with food. So thank you for caring for our citizens.
So, very well.
Okay, now we're gonna go to the consent agenda. All of the following items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the city council and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion of this item unless its council members so request. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
Well, I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now, I want to open up the public hearing on case number 1114-16, public hearing on request by Bobby
Peepaw. Peepaw.
Peepaw. Okay, to rezone 12.331 acre properties at 200 Johnson Road, being 128,000 square feet of the front portion and north of SH 35 bypass from AG Agricultural District to General Business District by retail, and rear portion being 422,400 square feet from AG Agricultural District to MH Manufactured Home District to operate an RV park.
Yeah, this applicant is requesting for a zoning change. Actually, as we all know, we don't want these RVs to the front or thoroughfares of the city's major streets. And so, Planning Commission recommended that he set aside a portion to the front that will create a buffer to the RV park that he's proposing to do. And the location is at 2000 Johnson Road. So the front portion will take about 120,000 square feet. And the RV park will be behind, which will be 400 square feet to the back. And so that is the request.
Any questions from the public?
I have a question. What is going to be the front part? Do they have a plan for that, or is that just landscaping, or?
It's dedicated for retail.
It is
Future.
dedicated retail, okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else? I declare this public hearing closed, and we're gonna go to case number We're gonna go to case number 1114-16 to consider an act on ordinance number 2019-4280 approving the rezoning of the property at 200 Johnson Road, being 128,000 square feet of the front portion and north of SH 35 bypass from AG Agricultural District to GP General Business District for retail, and real portion being 422,400 square feet from AG Agricultural District to Manufactured Homes District to operate an RV park in Aransas Pass, Aransas County, Texas. Favor of the council?
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance 2019-4280.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we're gonna open up the public hearing for a conditional use permit. 114-19, which is case number 1114-19, public hearing on request from Dr. and Ms. Shade of 1108 South Houston Street, Aransas Pass, for a conditional use permit for temporary multiple family dwelling on a single-family lot zoned R-7A single home, 7,000 square feet, to construct a approximately 900 square foot quarters at rear property for a parent care due to medical hardship.
Yes, this is a couple that they have a little bit of medical hardship due to a parent with old age, and they want to get a place for him to the rear of the property. The issue before the board commission was that the property is currently zoned single family, and therefore multiple uses are not allowed. However, the zoning code allows for medical hardship consideration as a conditional use permit, and that is what they are before the commission to approve for them to use their property. So on the 9th of this December, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of this application, and therefore we request that you approve this application. Thank you.
Any comments from the public?
So this is gonna be an actual home that's gonna be built, right, or an apartment,
No, it's going to be a quarters,
a quarters?
yeah, to the rear of the property.
Okay,
Main
can you
building.
describe that, what the quarters are? Is it just gonna,
It is mostly not a whole house with, basically it should have a living place, a restroom, and if possible, a kitchen, and it's connected with electricity and water. But that's not as big as the main building.
It is a permanent building.
Yeah, a
It's
guest
it's
house?
a small guest house. is
Small
what
guest
it
house.
is.
It's similar to a
It's
guest
small
house.
okay,
guest-
okay.
Yeah,
It's 900 square feet.
yeah.
Mayor. Osei, would you please explain what the word temporary means when you use a conditional use permit for temporary
Yes.
multifamily dwelling?
Yes, the purpose of the temporary is to make sure that this property is not used as a multi-family use purpose, because it is zoned single family. And therefore, the purpose of the hardship, medical hardship, terminates and becomes void after the hardship is no more. And therefore, the applicant's request is to use the condition as a medical hardship for a granting of this structure for the purposes of taking care of the parent. And therefore, it's not a permanent use request. And that is what this temporary means in this context. And therefore, the Planning Commission approved the length of time of review to 5 years maximum. And so if this application is approved, it has to be reviewed after 5 years, whether the hardship still exists or not. So it is not a permanent request.
And if that need is no longer there in 3 years, for example, what happens then?
Yeah, with hardship no longer, if the hardship ceases, what happens?
Yes, the hardship, everything that is being considered here is subject to the hardship, medical hardship. And so if it is no more there, it terminates. And
And what do we do
therefore,
with the
it shall
building?
not be used for any other purpose.
Then what happens to the building after the hardship goes away?
It shall not be used for any other purpose.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, you know, it
Please
sits
do.
there, it sits there, you can't use it for storage or something?
Yeah. Yes.
What this says is that technically, the conditional use permit over here is temporary. The code does not say the applicant has to put a permanent structure there. If the applicant desires, they can put a temporary structure as
Like
a
an
cottage
RV.
and then remove it. However, they have opted to put a permanent structure.
Mhm.
And therefore, it's up to the council to determine whether they will have to remove the permanent structure or put in
No.
a temporary structure. And after the hardship is over, then they don't have to struggle or deal with a permanent structure without using it. It's up to the council to make that decision.
I was at the meeting last Monday night when this was presented to the planning and zoning, and this was probably the longest issue, I think, it was at that meeting. She has her father's health is failing, and please correct me, Mrs. Shade. Is it Shade or Skade? Shade, okay. And she needs a place for him to live out the rest of his years. He's not in good health. Instead of putting something temporary, they wanted to build a small guest house. And they went back and forth with contemporary use permit is for 1 year only, but you did not come up with it. It can be up to 5 years is what was finally settled, and that was so much better for the council or for the commission, because we all understand very well the hardship that this has put on your family, and it's going to become a guest house. The reason, after going through that meeting, for being the contemporary use permit over not wanting it to be multifamily is because you don't want everybody else on the block putting in little rental homes or little rental one-room things in the back, which is, we totally understood. That is certainly not what she's doing. So,
Okay.
so,
Our plan
yes,
after my father passes away, which I don't know if it's gonna be.
please come up to the, please
You
come
want
up.
to come forward and talk?
So my father has 3 major illnesses with his vision, his respiratory system, musculoskeletal. He's 88 and a half. And I don't know if he's gonna die in a year or 5 years, or I don't know, but he needs major help. So when he passes away, whether it's whenever it is, I'm gonna notify you guys. And then our goal at that point would be to work with you on making it some sort of a guest house where we would agree on periods of time that we could have someone visit. We don't plan to rent it. We have 3 children from second marriages. He has 3 kids, I have 1. And, you know, we would not want them to stay for long periods of time anyway.
That's in the record, you know.
Like a sign on the front door, 2 weeks, that's it, you know, or something. So anyway, you know, we're not trying to have it as a rental property or B&B or anything like that. So anyway, that would be our goal. Otherwise, we'd have this, the house is set to be 775 square feet with a porch, front porch. And it's just be right there where we could go and help Daddy. So, I mean, we could pay all that money to a nursing home, but
No, I admire and respect you for what you're doing.
thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's a tough job.
Absolutely.
And I admire you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a nurse and my husband's a dentist. We're both retired, but anyway, we want to use our skills to help
Yeah.
our family, so.
Yep.
Anyway, that's what we'd like to do
All
with your
right.
blessing.
All right.
Any other comments? Okay, well, I declare the public hearing closed. And now we're gonna go to case number 114-19, consider and act on ordinance number 2019-4281, granting a conditional use permit for a temporary multifamily dwelling on a single-family lot at 1108 South Houston Street to construct approximately 900 square feet quarters in the rear property for a parent care due to medical hardship subject to conditions set forth.
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2019-4281.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Now I'm gonna open up public hearing on a conditional use permit renewal, case number 1209-20. It is case number 1209-20, public hearing on request for Aransas Pass Brewing Company LLC to renew their conditional use permit and time extension from 12 months to a maximum of 5 years. Permits to operate Hook and Ladder Brewery Pub and Brewery located at 130 East Goodnight Avenue, Aransas Pass, Texas.
This is also another conditional use permit, and it's been issued already, and the applicant has operated almost a year plus, and it's time for a renewal, and so they have come in to renew, request for an extension for the conditional use permit. The Planning Commission reviewed the application and its requirements, criteria, and they passed it and recommended that it be approved. Also, besides the 12 months extension, they want to request that it should be 5 years before a review is done. And the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended that that one also should be approved. And so if the board, if the council approves this request, it will mean that the next time this case comes before the council, it will be a 5 years time.
Any questions? Any comments from the public?
Well, I have a comment.
Mhm.
These are people that put a lot of money into that building and have really opened a good business for our community. I don't understand why we're not working harder on getting business licenses rather than conditional use permits. Because as we change councils and things happen, people look at things a little bit differently. But when you have an upcoming thriving business, you should not hinder them by saying you can only be in business for 1 year or 2 years or 5 years. I think we need to move on a business license. As long as they're not getting any warnings from the police department, which I know they haven't, or anything like that, I think we need to, as a city, be a little bit more proactive in business licensing rather than conditional use permits to someone who is invested in this community.
If that
That's
is-
just a comment.
Yeah, if that is the case, then we need to look at the code and revise it from certain types of uses, from
Right.
conditional use to permitted use.
Yep.
That's what the result will be,
I think that's what we need to do.
okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Catherine
didn't know
Foley,
you were-
co-owner of Hook and Ladder Brew Pub, Aransas Pass Brewing Company. We have, for the last year and a half, have loved being in business here in Aransas Pass. We've done everything we can think of to really be a connection with the businesses, with the people in Aransas Pass, really feeling that we are a business for the community. I know we're a brew pub. Some people call us a bar. Well, yeah, but we're a family place. We have so many families that come in and share the time with us. We do everything we can to support the community through food drives and school support for different things for the schools. And we just did a toy drive that was amazing. We do what we can. We're always open for suggestions how we can support the community that much more. And that's why we thought, as opposed to every year, we're thinking, well, a conditional use permit, that means all of a sudden that plug can be pulled. And we're investing a lot of money. We're getting a huge amount in return for that. Maybe not always money, but we get a good feeling all the time. So that's why we're asking. If we cannot have to go through this every year, and for 5 years, we'd really, really appreciate that. But no, whatever it is, that we support this community.
Thank you.
Helen Nagel, I just wanted to comment, who's in charge of changing the code to solve her problem?
Ultimately, it's the
Well,
council.
it's the council, but it has to be put on an agenda item, and we need to research
Is there any
it.
reason you can't do it? It makes sense to me.
Not right
Make
this
sure-
moment.
Not right now, no.
It'll take a couple of months probably to get the process changed, but,
No.
yeah.
It has to be.
He's got to come up with the plan first.
Right.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
I think we got a good one this time. He's my best friend.
We must also remember, not to, I'm never the negative Nancy, but if I have to, we've got to also consider what's good for the goose is good for the gander, and if you do it for one
Gotta do it for all.
bar, establishment, brewery, you're
Right.
gonna have to do it for all of them in town,
Okay.
and I don't think we want all bars in town.
Okay, that was what I was about to talk,
You gotta think about it, you can't
Right,
just, yeah.
right.
So
There are-
we'll
there
have
are-
to discuss that one.
Right, there are some
Yes.
uses,
I got you where Catherine Foley is, but there are others. She's not the only one.
okay? So we need to look at types of uses and particular ones and conditions that we need to set, because not all.
I'm sorry, Mayor, I'm gonna have to stop the agenda item as we continue to speak. It's getting off topic.
Right.
Oh, there we go.
And to remain
There
in
you go.
compliance with the Open Meetings Act.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I'll declare this public hearing closed. Now we're gonna go on case number 1209-20, consider an act on ordinance number 2019-4282, granting renewal of a conditional use permit and the time extension from 12 months to a maximum of 5 years for Aransas Pass Brewing Company LLC to operate the Hook and Ladder Brew Pub and Brewery located at 130 East Goodnight Avenue, Aransas Pass, Texas, subject to conditions set forth.
I make a motion that we accept the 5-year conditional use plan for case number 1209-20 on a renewal on Hook and ordinance number 2019-4282 for the conditional use for 5 years.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now we're gonna go to the city manager. And it's to discuss regarding drainage on Highland Avenue and FM 1069. Mr. Howard Gillespie from San Patricio County Commissioner.
Could we go to the other slide, let's see here. That's it, that's okay, that's fine.
This one, or?
No, back to the other one, sorry, I'm looking up here.
That one?
One more. There you go, okay.
Okay.
That's Highland, okay. What we've done here is, we've got permission from TxDOT, and it's gonna be funded by the Drainage District to, TxDOT will put within the FM 1069 right-of-way, a 30-inch diameter pipe, and then we will go with a 30-inch diameter pipe on the outfall, which is where the Yella is, and all the way out to McCampbell Slough. We're looking, our right-of-way people are looking for the property owners now and checking out and see if we have, some of our right-of-way shows we have right-of-way all the way through there. We want to make sure. So that'll help with the drainage down Highland. You know, that'll take it all the way out to the slough. It won't be dammed up by 1069. Okay? So that's what we're doing there. Now, the other thing we're doing, if you go the other, yeah, that's the search of the property. Next one. Okay, across from Johnson, we're also going to look at where the pipe goes under and, wait a minute, I've got it backwards. This is Highland, I'm sorry, I lied, okay? All right, this is the one I wanted first. This is Highland. The alternate one is the yellow that would go to a pond on the property just on the other side of West Highland. And then if we can find the property owners, we will go to the alternate, to the ditch, to the outfall into the slough, okay? Either way, that'll relieve the pressure on Highland. The other thing we're doing with the drainage district is over back on 3rd and Maverick Trails. There's a RV park back in there, and there's a lot of flooding back in there. We've got permission from the property owners to bring that all the way out to 1069 down 3rd, and it'll cut right across. And so, okay, now go back to the other one. That was Johnson. I'm not looking at the big screen here. Okay, now, we already have, at this pond here, there's already a pipe that runs underneath 1069 to TxDOT put in. So what we want to do is, we want to extend that out to the slough as well. And so we're looking for the property owners for that too, so we can get permission and go ahead and start that project. But TxDOT will be starting on the other one underneath 1069 sometime beginning next year, so. So anyway. Sorry about the confusion between the diagrams, but you know, I'm looking at them small, you're looking at them big. Questions, which is why I wanted to have the presentation. So basically, we're working 3 different things to get the water away from Avenue A on the other side of 1069 and out to the slough. You know, because Hogan Homes continues to build. Now, they've done some work on a pond, their pond back there. It's not very deep, so I don't know exactly what they're doing. I'm gonna touch base with them too after the first of the year. But we wanna get that water down and across out to the slough. Okay, and then out the back bay. So.
30-inch pipe move a lot of water.
Huh?
30-inch pipe will move a lot of water.
Yeah, well, that's the idea.
Yeah, move a lot of water.
Yeah, it'll go pipe all the way, the one on Highland will go pipe out to the other side, and then we want to do a ditch after that. So, yeah, see, we'll take the 30-inch diameter pipe to the drainage district to the end of West Highland, and then go to a ditch outfall after that, where the pavement ends on that side of the road, okay?
Great.
Questions?
Okay.
Good?
Good job.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you, Howard.
Yeah, give me a call if you need me.
Good plan.
All right, appreciate it.
All right,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Good plan.
Does the public have any questions? No public?
Does the public have any questions?
Yeah.
Or comments?
Okay, well, let's go to the next one. Consider an act and approving resolution 2019-933, supporting the development and implementation of a comprehensive industrial master plan for San Patricio County, Texas.
Mr. Mayor and council members, let me update you on where this issue is. This has been discussed at a work session, so you know the general idea behind this, and the fact that several mayors met at the bakery here in town several weeks ago with the idea of wanting to move forward at that time, without any details at that time, move forward to speak as one voice on the issue of industry here in San Patricio County. Speaking with one voice on such issues as, do we want this industry or that industry, or do we not want this industry or that industry, to join as a group to speak with one voice to industries that are interested in San Patricio County. When we met last time, you looked at the original resolution And the original resolution was prepared essentially by, and maybe exclusively by, Portland, the mayor and city manager over there. And I've been in contact with the city manager on several occasions and want to also, if I may take a moment, you can pass this out. I'm sorry. I asked to talk with the city manager and had him look over an issue that I'll be bringing up in just a minute to get his thoughts on it. And that issue is, in addition to the original resolution, ran the original resolution by the city attorney. City attorney came up with a red line version to add to further protect the city. And you have a copy, you should have received a copy of both issues, both resolutions in your packet, the red line copy as well as the original copy. The action tonight that's being requested is, do you want to, don't have to, do you want to act on one of those copies, either the red line version or the original version? And I ran a copy of the red line copy by Portland, the city manager, who conversed with his mayor, and that's the response that they came up with, what you have before you at this time. So far, what's happened is that San Patricio County has approved the original. The City of Portland has approved the original. City of Ingleside has approved the original. The City of Gregory has approved the original. The other cities, Ingleside on the Bay, Mathis, Odom, Centon, and Aransas Pass, simply have not taken actions yet. Nobody has rejected it, but those cities I mentioned have not taken action yet. Over the week, on Friday, I found out that Rockport is interested in joining this group, even though they're not in San Patricio County. And they are getting a presentation right now as we speak on this issue. Do they want to join this group of mayors and the county? I say mayors, referring to cities, of course, and the county. The county, San Patricio County, is also a part of this. Now, we'll see what happens tonight, but possibly with the city of Rockport also. So, in a nutshell, that's what's happening, and that's an update on what's happened recently. Again, before you tonight is, and open for discussion, is do you want to act on either resolution that's before you, the original or the red line version? Do you want to wait and see what the remaining cities do? They won't be getting into it, some of them anyway, not until January, until their January meeting. If you decide to go with the red line version, you see what the city of Portland, who has been spearheading this, what they say, that it shouldn't be a huge issue for you if you want to do it, keeping in mind that all of this is in the preliminary stages. It's up to the mayors on what they want to see as far as the language. They can change whatever they want to change. And the county, mayors and county. It's up to them to put together the final resolution. And this is the resolution you have before you. Either the red line version or the original version are starting points, because it's quite possible this could change, that could change also. But the goal is to get something started, to get the cities organized to speak with one voice here in San Patricio County on the issue of industry within our county. I think that gives you an overview anyway, at least opens up the discussion, the potential for discussion by you to see which way you want to go, if either way. You may not want to go any way at this point. You may want to wait, but that's up to you. But that's what we know at this point. That's an update on the latest information.
Yes.
I like the red line version. I think it protects us.
Yes.
And I feel as though we would have a voice with the red line version. I think that Portland, and it's personal opinion, Portland and Corpus Christi will run the show, and will be that little drip in the pond again.
Of course, and let me be the devil's advocate on that,
know.
or the angel's advocate, however. It depends on how strong the mayors are and the cities are. If they don't choose to fight, then you're correct. If they choose to stand their ground, I've seen the mayor stand ground on different issues, our mayor and other mayors, and they certainly have that capability. It's up to them, or they can let people run over them. That's another point of view, is all I'm saying.
That's true. How do you feel about this, Ram? You're on that committee. You've sat in these meetings. You've listened to what they have to say. What are your feelings?
Well, I feel comfortable with the one she wrote with the red letter.
Me too.
I like that
I
one.
really like that one.
Yeah, 'cause,
I mean,
you know,
I really want to be a part of it. And I really want us to have a voice in it, so we need some kind of resolution, and we need to be a part of it. That's the way I feel
Agree.
about it. We have to have a voice in it. We can't just step back and let them do whatever they want, and we never hear nothing, and we never know nothing.
That's it. I agree.
If you decide, which is fine, if you decide you want to approve the red line version, what we would do is we would pass that on, since they're spearheading that, to, and they've seen a copy, as you can see before you, pass that on to Portland and say, here is what our council approved. And I think the mayor, I believe you've been reaching out to at least another city or two, and have presented the red line version to them. And we would see, you know, what happens if you approve that. I'm just conjecturizing here. I don't know what you're going to do.
Would we be allowed to send our red line version over to those cities that haven't voted yet so that they can see what we're
I did.
looking?
That's
Oh,
what
good.
Yeah, he already
Good.
has.
Okay, good.
Between me and the mayor from TAP.
Okay, I just
Yeah,
didn't
because
know if
that
you would
original
send it over
version
to the-
just gives Corpus way too much
Yeah.
power.
Yeah.
Just too much control.
And as we are proving right now, and as I said in that letter, the final version of that's up to the mayors. It's that's a starting point. They wanted to get something going, and they wanted to have someone, professional planners, work with us, work with the mayors and the cities to put together the RFP for when they go out for a consultant to put together the master plan, to have some professional direction there. That's the reason the MPO is there, having some organization that deals in planning to assist with that.
If I may speak,
Sure
Howard
enough.
Gillespie, County Commissioner, Precinct 4, also on the Technical Advisory Committee for the MPO. Okay? They are a body that is separate from the city of Corpus Christi in some regards, and they're charged with the planning of transportation needs around Corpus, Portland, those areas there. Now, the reason that we talked about having them do the proposal is because they've done this before, okay? Once the proposal goes out and a company picks it up, we get somebody who knows how to do this kind of stuff. At that point, the MPO is out of it. It's all between the judge, the mayors, the councils, and the commissioner's court to set the guidelines. Now, I know this started in Portland, and Portland's close to Corpus. They're a bedroom community. But they did have a bit of a point. This all started with ExxonMobil Savic, okay, being so close to the city of Portland. And so what we want to do is we want to set up industrial areas, have a master plan, okay? If industry goes in here, then we can give these tax abatements. If industry wants to go over here where it's too close to something, we say no tax abatements. So, yeah, they can still build, but they get no break on anything, okay? Because they can buy land and build anywhere they want if the land's for sale. So, you know, we need to do this, okay? And I haven't read your red line thing, I haven't seen it, but whatever it is, the MPO is actually structured such over at the RTA that they could actually go out, set this up, and go out for an RFP or give us the information to do it. The Commissioners Court had the same feeling towards them, but I work with these people, you know. We meet every month or so to discuss all the different things going on. So, but they have professional expertise to be able to provide the product for us, okay? Not control it, you know, not say this is what we're gonna do, but to actually put it all together so it can go out for a proposal, and we get somebody in here who works with us in San Patricio County, okay? Try not to go too negative across the bridge, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because I'm on committees over there too, but looking out for San Patricio County, all right? So, any questions from me about that? Okay, and whatever you approve is what you approve. We want everybody involved in the process, okay? And that's the way the judge feels, that's the way the whole Commissioner Court feels, okay? All the cities in San Pat County, all right? So, okay.
Well, as I've said from the beginning, I think we need to be a part of this group so that we can be a part and know what they're doing and not be left out and have a voice. Roxanne's revision of the resolution makes 100%. It has to be that way, or I will have to say, no, we don't need to be a part of it.
I'm going to say one last thing.
You haven't read it, Howard.
Having been a mayor for 8 years in a very small town, I always listen to my city attorney. Okay? I'll leave with that.
There you
Thank
go.
you. Thank you very much. Smart
There you
guy.
go.
There you go.
I think I have a smart city attorney. I'm not gonna fancy that back and forth.
So anyway,
Do-
yes,
do you
I'm a
folk-
city attorney, so I think you need to pay attention.
Yeah.
Do you folks want to vote on that tonight? Is that some,
I'm
I
okay with
think
that.
Okay.
I think we're good now. We've had
Okay.
we've discussed it and seen the new resolution revised.
okay,
And then we'll see what the other ones, they do.
that's fine. Perfect.
Okay, favor of the council?
Well, I make a motion that we accept the red line version.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now we're gonna go to consider, discuss, and take action to approve an amendment to the following Com Brown Harbor leases to correct the legal descriptions for each of the leased properties. Number one, Stephanie Pham, DBA The Bait Shack, 510 Bigelow, legal description, 0.215 acres of leased land, or a total of 9.363 square feet, 9,363 square feet for a total linear footage of 100.22 feet. Number two, Underwater Services Incorporated, legal description, 0.173 acres of leased land on a total of 7,540 square feet, being at the easterly terminus of Wilson Avenue and being partially with the Huff Street right-of-way for a total linear footage of 174.64 feet. 175.64 linear feet. Whoa. Say Nugent, DBA Captain's Caddy, legal description, 0.412 acres of leased land on a total of 17,941 square feet, lot 58 through 61, and a portion of lot 62, and a 10-foot adjacent to said lot, section 6, for a total linear footage of 114.31. Number four, Handsome Sailor Yacht Charters Incorporated, 508 Bigelow, legal description, 0.604 acres of leased land, or a total of 26,299 square feet out of 2 tracts of land, out of 2 tracts for total linear footage of 272 feet, 0.26. GNS Marine Incorporated, legal description, 0.107 acres of leased land, and a total of 4,648 square feet, and being located at the easterly terminus of Lot Avenue and partially within the Huff Street right-of-way for a total linear footage of 119.90 feet. Aransas Pass Seafood Packers LLC, 420 Bigelow, legal description, 2.145 acres of leased land and a total of 93,419 square feet, and being 2 tracts of land and a total linear footage of 937.28 feet. Justin Chandler, 518 Bigelow, legal description, 0.274 acres of leased land, or a total of 11,955 square feet, and out of an unplatted portion of Com Brown Harbor for the total linear footage of 123.29 feet. Justin Chandler and Byron Bacchus, 508.5 Bigelow, legal description, 0.270 acres of land, leased land, or a total of 11,775 square feet, and being out of 2 tracts of land for a total of linear footage of 104.2 feet.
Mayor and City Council members, earlier this year, you instructed the city manager who was applying for this wonderful grant that's going to be building some streets out in Con Brown Harbor to make sure that we got Con Brown Harbor surveyed. And he did. And in that surveying, we found that some of the legal descriptions that were in our Con Brown Harbor leases to certain tenants were incorrect. We'd hired Griffith and Brudgett Surveying to make sure that we had the right descriptions. They provided those descriptions along with the surveying map, and so we were instructed by the council for the city secretary and the city attorney to work together and to get those current leases amended with the correct legal description. Current leases amended with the correct legal description. And that's what we've done. We've gotten them corrected and signed by the tenants. There are a couple of tenants that didn't have to have their leases amended because they had the actual perfect legal description. But with that said, all the other tenants that needed to have it corrected, signed, they're before you tonight, except for Aransas Marine Ways. They are disputing the legal description based on linear feet, and we'll have more discussion on that in executive session. So at this point, the city attorney and I think the city secretary would recommend that you approve these and move forward so that our Con Brown Harbor tenants have corrected lease legal descriptions on their leases.
Any comments from the public? Council has any questions? That's a lot of square footage, 50 cents a square foot. Okay, who's in favor of the council?
I'll make a motion that we approve the amended, the amendments made to Con Brown leases to correct the legal descriptions for each of the ones that were read.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're going to go to consider an act on approving resolution number 2019-934 regarding the finance agreement for the purpose of procuring a street sweeper and a truck and designating the city manager as the authorized signer of the following finance agreement.
Mr. Mayor and Council, I think that pretty well speaks for itself. You've instructed us, meaning myself and the finance director, to move forward with the street sweeper and the truck. We've done that. Actually, the finance director, Sandra Garcia, has done a wonderful job of putting together a package. And this will finally, after I think 350 years, get us a street sweeper again. The former street sweeper is buried. We had rights for it the other day, but this will allow us to have a street sweeper again, which we badly need and is part of the cleanup effort in the community. And it's a complaint we often get, why don't you get the street sweeper out here? Because we don't have any. So this will allow it to move forward. And Sandra, any details you want to give as far as do you have any questions related to the actual package? Okay, then that's all we have then.
When is it going to be delivered?
That I don't know. I think we're going to issue a PO hopefully by the end of the week, and then we'll keep you posted by Friday.
Have it on January 1?
I know it was like a 30-day turnaround. I think
that's right, yes.
That is what I might understand. So, but we will give you a definite answer.
Good. Excellent. Great. I know we've been bugging forever.
And rightfully so.
Favor of the council?
Well, I make a motion, we approve resolution 2019-934 to get us a new street sweeper. And a truck.
I second.
And Gary
All
can
in
sign
favor?
for it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now we're going to go to consider an act on the issuance of a request for qualifications for commercial real estate broker services.
Mr. Mayor and Council, this is something that has come out of recent meetings with you and work sessions, et cetera. There is a need for us to look at. Of course, it's up to you if you ultimately want to make a decision on that. But at least go out for, at this point, go out for RFQs, requests for qualifications for real estate people to handle city property such as LWR, which is a very good example, actually. When I've done this in the past, we've asked such questions as, what is your rate? And the city always strives to get the best rate possible. And that's just one of many questions. How interested are they in the community, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of questions that I would like to put together a committee for, and maybe one or two of you on that committee, and then make a decision based on what comes in as from the RFQs. On RFQ, normally what you do, as you well know, is you get the proposals in, and then you review the proposals, and then you negotiate with the selection, and if that doesn't work out, you keep going down the list. So we're asking that you allow us to go out for RFQs for a real estate agent to handle city property.
Yep. You tried to be sneaky, it didn't work.
I make a motion that we go out for RFQs for commercial real estate broker services.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now we go to the monthly municipal court report.
Traffic jam.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I have the activity report for the month of November. Cases filed were 171. Convictions filed are 27. County magistrations are 23. Capus Pro fines issued 49. Class C warrant 72. CID warrants signed 22. Walk-ins, we had approximately about 72 people. And emergency protective orders issued 3. The municipal court week was celebrated November 4th through the 8th. A resolution was presented by the mayor at the city council meeting of November 4th. Judge Morales did presentations, or I did presentations for the Aransas High School government classes on traffic safety. Bench trials and jury trials were scheduled, but were worked out where no trial was needed. Training, I and Millie attended a financial training that was put on by the police department. I also attended a family violence cases reporting on how to do it. This is a new report that now the courts are required to do, and I've been working real close with the Assistant Chief Wood on working these reports. And we did also an online payment training. We're on the process of launching that. And for community service, we assisted with the fall feast that was held. And on the OCA report on page 6, the total collected for the month of November was $14,799.06, which this city stays with $9,725.77 and $5,073.29 that goes to the state. We had a kind of slow month. Do y'all have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're gonna go to community enrichment. And this monthly community enrichment department report, November 2019.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor and Council. How are you? Okay, so I just have, the first slide you can see is a Civic Center update. The bids for final repair work to include HVAC work, electrical work, and audio-visual sound were received. The contract was awarded to Scott Electric. The contract was finalized last week, and a pre-construction meeting will be scheduled with L&V, Scott Electric, and city staff this week. The work will be complete in 90 days according to the contract. So that's the update on that. We haven't scheduled the meeting, the pre-construction meeting, but we will. Fernando won't be back until Thursday. The aquatic update, if you go on to the next slide, you can see the pictures there. The slide tower project was completed in November. That was something that we came to you all in July and August when we had our workshops before that. That was something that y'all were real enthusiastic about and y'all gave me stickers for. But that was completed in November. As you can see the pictures, it received minor repairs and fabrication to the structure, and then the tower itself was sandblasted, painted, and the stairs were sealed. So it looks real good. You can see the before and after pictures and the before and after pictures. The next phase of this project will be the actual slides. That's scheduled for February, but that will be caulking the slides and sealing them, and so minor fiberglass work. And if you go to the next slide, there's a library update. We had 2,286 library visits in November, 125 reserve a librarian users. That's when you reserve a librarian to help you, like with resumes and stuff like that. So 125 people made an appointment for that. 520 internet users and 189 Wi-Fi users. We had 108 reference transactions, and seasonal activities always changing and can be found on the library's newsletter and on our website. And stop by for a visit. So that's all I have. I think. I'm sorry, I think my medicine's running.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're gonna go to Development Services, and it's the monthly building department report.
Good evening, council and mayor. This month in November, we've had 114 permits. It's about 14 ahead of last month. We're 37 ahead of this time last year for the same month. This month, we brought in about $85,000 in just permit fees. And obviously, we're growing. You've had presentations earlier tonight that indicated, RV parks and different businesses. Right now, this month is extremely busy for my department. We've got the Army-Navy Credit Union has already broken ground. They're doing underground right now. The bowling alley, they've made their first concrete pour. They've got another one, I believe, later this week. The movie theater, they keep telling us the 20th of this month. I'm not a betting person, but I'm hoping. The St. Lawrence Apartments down the street here, they've got 3 buildings that just turned over today. They don't even know it yet. The owner's going to be in town Wednesday, so I'm going to give him those 3 buildings. I cannot remember the name of the apartments out by Shrimpery. They've got 1 building turned over.
Baytree, maybe? Baytree.
Yeah, and they're working towards getting all of those online. This is all this month. We've got the new apartments that are getting ready to start. We've issued them their permits, and that was a big portion of the permit fees this month. I think it was 50-some thousand.
Yes.
We've got right now, and I met with Roxanne, our team met with Roxanne today. Right now, I believe the count was at 86 demolitions, so, and we're working pretty diligently at that. So we're having a busy month, and people are trying to finish up this month, obviously, to be done by the end of the year.
Our demo meeting docket today consisted of 27 different properties.
Yes.
And we're not going to have to call it demo repair team, because we are definitely moving into the area where the structures are needing to be repaired as opposed to demolished, and calling those people in. So a new level of intensity on our team. It gets more difficult. It doesn't get easier, because you do have various factors that come into play on the repair. With that said, Earl, I think you're doing a great job, and we're so lucky to have your certifications. I certainly really rely on them as an attorney, so thank you.
Thank you. We do have, I do have one other one that we're trying to get online. I think it'll be after the first of the year, though, is the Candlewood Speeds. They had lost a ship
Yeah.
between Vietnam, China, or somewhere. They can't find it.
With all the furniture.
But they have a lot of work left to do. But they're moving forward. They're making good progress. So I'm hoping this week we'll test their fire alarm system and also test the movie theaters. And that's a huge step for those two businesses. So.
And for future update, Councilmember Abrego's requested a demolition update. So we'll be doing that on January the 6th with the newest structures since we started up in September, before and after pictures. Not with only just the demos, but the repairs.
Yeah. Any questions?
Thanks.
Thank you.
Now we have the monthly Public Works report.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I'm here to present to y'all the monthly update report for Public Works. I'm going to start with the utility department. This month they were able to accomplish 2 water pressure issues, 24 stop sewer calls, 20 water sewer leak calls. Water sewer taps was at 3. Because of how busy they weren't able to get onto any new hydrant replacements compared to last month with 4. Meter turnoffs was 9. That's either turn them off or on after hours. Line locates, they had 32. They completed 89 samples. That includes the standard ones that we are to comply with TCQ, along with construction samples as well, and 33 dead-end flushing sites. Moving on to the streets and drainage. Streets patched for potholes was at 20. Signs replaced and or repaired is 12. Storm sinkhole repairs is 2. Roadside ditches regraded by the 100 linear feet is at 10. Curb and gutter cleaning by the miles is 1.5 miles. Streets paved by 100 linear feet is at 17. Moving on to citywide projects, we have added 1 new project to the list. It's the CDBG and the MIT grants. It's based as 1 project as of right now, but soon we will sit down and start splitting it up into multiple projects. Projects completed this month was 2 additional. The King Lift Station, that is completely done, along with the dog park, bringing our total ongoing projects from 36 down to 34 projects. And that's it. Y'all have any questions? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we're gonna go to finance. Consider an act on ordinance number 2019-4279, approving an automatic increase in water rates pursuant to section 29-28D of the Code of Ordinance as a result of an increase in rates by the city water vendors and providing an effective date.
Good evening. Every year, it seems, been the case we have a water rate increase from San Patricio Municipal Water. This year it's 10 cents. The water rate that they're going to be getting from Corpus, that they're going to be passing on to us, and that we are requesting, unfortunately, to pass on to the consumer. The city is not in a financial position to be able to absorb those 10 cents per thousand. So that is what you have before you today.
Any comments from the public? Any comments from?
I make a motion that we approve the ordinance, go back to it, to amend the water rate for San Patricio County to number 2019-4279, approving the automatic increase in water rates.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now we go to the monthly financial department report.
Okay, we want to just go to the other page. Let's just go to the graph. It's just better. Thank you, Gary. Sorry about that. The revenue one. No, that graph. No, go up. There you go. No, you went too far up. There.
I'm playing with you.
So, I know you are, Gary. But you know what? Tomorrow. All right. So overall, unfortunately, our expenditures overall for this month exceeded our revenues. This right here is our budgeted revenues, and you'll see what the blue is the budgeted revenue, and the dot is where we either hit or didn't hit the mark. The reason I did some research, because I was like, well, I was a little perplexed why this was happening. We do have some one-time annual payments that arise every once in a while, and we had to pay all our TWIA and windstorm insurance. This past month, we had some renewals that the police department did and we did for some of our software licensing and stuff. So that took a big hit in the budget. And so those are just one-time expenses that happen at the beginning. So as the months progress, we're hoping to see the inverse of that, where the expenditures are continuing to grow and the expenditures are continuing to go down. If you see this next slide, go ahead, Gary. There you go. So you just see, even though the expenditures did not exceed the budgeted, the revenues did not hit the mark because it wasn't enough revenue to surpass the expenditure. Now, if you'll look at the other slide, is our property tax collected year to date. We're about 649,000 compared to 522 to 498. I get up here and I tell you, oh, we're collecting more money. That's because we assess more money. So then the other slide is just graphically how much property tax we've assessed, we've levied the past 3 years, current and 2 year prior, and how much at this period in time had we collected. So even though we've assessed, we have been collecting at a good rate. So we are at higher than when we were in 2018, 2019. Those 2 years were at 11%. This year, 2020, we're at 12.01%. So we're slightly above. We're on pace. We're on track. All right. So then the other one is sales tax. Sales tax. We're continuing to grow. We're continuing to be able to keep some of that money and that growth that we had after the hurricane. Our numbers are still better than before the hurricane, and that's a good benchmark for us as well. The next one is the sales tax collected, and this is all three. That's the 2 pennies combined. That's MDD, Crime Board, and the city, so that we know overall when we're comparing ourselves to other cities like Portland or Ingleside or Rockport, we have to add these 3 numbers together to get those 2 pennies that we're collecting overall. I just want to say something off of what Burl had said, and it's in my memo to you guys. It has to do with the water customers. Our water customers, pre-Harvey, we were about 3,700 customers, more or less meters that we had. Post-Harvey, after the storm, we went down to a low about 3,300 customers, or even lower, slightly lower than that. Right now, currently, we're back up to 3,600. So there is that growth. We are seeing those people coming back, and I'm excited to hear about the apartments and all of that, because those are our water customers. Those are customers that they're going to come back online with us, and we're going to continue to grow. Do you all have any questions?
That's no small point right there. That tells that the recovery is getting very close to being over. That means all the houses that we lost and all those residents are now just about back. Not only that, with all that's coming in, it's very possibly that's going to exceed what had been the case prior to the hurricane. That's a huge story right there. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra.
Now we're gonna go to public safety and to the monthly fire department report.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So, last month we ran 63 calls. Of course, we're up again from the previous years. And that included 5 fires that we did have. It's going to be interesting to see where those calls end up when we do get to the end of the year compared to the year prior to. On our inspections, we got 11 inspections done. Chief Borrego's been very active out there. We've actually started getting our captains out helping with some of the inspections now, since all of our captains are also inspectors. And he's been keeping up with the movie theaters and the different apartments that are coming up. With our training hours, of course, you guys know that my guys train all the time. They put in 109 hours last month of training between all my guys. So one thing that when I came to Aransas Pass, I told the guys, and I told Chief Blanchard when he was interviewing me, is that I wanted to get the Aransas Pass Fire Department out there where people had heard of it. I know that several of y'all have seen our web page, our Facebook page and everything. Well, my guys did a rescue on this cat. And you know, that cats and firefighters, I don't know. But there's a viral video group called the Dodo that gets out there and picks up these videos. And the guys just simply put the raw footage of them doing the rescue of this cat on there. And this cat had stuck its head through the pin hole for a piston and got stuck in there, and had been in there for quite a while. It was all cut up where it's been trying to get out and just extremely tired. But the Dodo picked this up. Since that has happened, we have had 11 million views,
Wow.
over 399,000 reactions, 10,000 comments, and that video has been shared over 79,000 times.
Oh, wow.
I heard about it from my daughter in Colorado. She called me and she said, "Mom, you gotta go to their Facebook page."
It's who would have known? And the Dodo actually came in and they took the raw video and cleaned it up and did it with an interview with the 3 guys that had done the rescue. And when you watch this video and they finally get that piston to pop, I thought, when I first saw it, I was like, they killed that cat. But they did a great job. I can never speak highly enough of the guys that work for me. And I would put my guys up against any fire department out there. They're that good. I'm lucky to be able to work with these guys, and the city's really lucky to have these guys. They are the finest I've worked with.
But they have a true leader, and that makes the difference too.
So, other things I wanted to tell you about the Facebook page, what that has also done to our Facebook page. Our actions on the page went up 200%. Our page views went up 354%. Our page previews went up 4,038%. Our page likes went up 450%. People actually watching the video went up 267%, and we picked up 426% more followers than we had any other month.
Wow.
I've had phone calls from New Zealand, Germany, Brazil. Letters come in, people sending us emails just saying thank you for rescuing a cat. So if you haven't seen our cat video,
I gotta find that.
Oh, I saw
it's
it.
much
It's
better
awesome.
than the
It is
Kawadi
awesome.
video that we did.
Yeah.
But check out our cat video. It was it
It's
did
good.
really well.
Is it right up there with the monkey biting the cop video?
Yeah. But like I said, I mean, one thing I absolutely wanted to do is I wanted to get Aransas Pass out there to the world to see what a professional fire department we have.
Well, you done good.
And these guys,
Sure have.
they every day come in and just, they do it.
Awesome.
Any
Thank
questions for me?
Thank you.
No,
All right.
that's
Thank
great.
you.
Thanks.
Okay, now we're gonna go to citizen comments. Citizen comments are intended for matters that are not scheduled on the agenda. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes and state your name and address for the record. Be advised that the Texas Open Meeting Act prohibits the city council from responding and discussing your comments. The law authorizes the following: make a statement of factual information, recite existing policy, advise that the subject may be placed on the agenda for a subsequent meeting.
Now you can come up.
Lisa, in after I sit there for a little while. Donald Brumman, 902 South Wright. I've got one question, and I'm gonna ask you, because I'm tired of getting the answers that I get from Fernando. When are you gonna start on that Harbor Roads?
You mean Con Brown? Or
On Brown Harbor, yes.
well, we've been putting stuff out on that already. I wish you could have seen it. It's been in the newsletter several times. But what we are doing is the design is 90%. In fact, I think TV is doing something on this week. I'm hopeful anyway. They took the drawing. But the design is 90% complete. It'll be 100% complete on the by mid-January. Encourage you to be here for a work session on January 13th, where the Dannenbaum Company, the design company, will give a report on the completed design, construction to start in early spring. All this has been in earlier newsletters.
Okay, because I like driving around on top of the harbor. That's the prettiest part of the harbor. You don't have to look at all that junk on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
But those roads will beat your car to death.
They are being completely torn out, new roads with an adjacent walking bike trail.
So I gotta stay off of them for another year at least.
It will take 10 months to finish the project, but they'll be doing it in sections. But it'll be completely finished in 10 months.
Okay.
Okay.
That's all I want to
Mhm.
know.
Anybody else? Okay, now we're gonna go to executive session. Section 551.071 of the Texas Open Meeting Act to meet with his attorney to seek legal advice on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the city council under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with the Texas Open Meeting Act relating to Con Brown Harbor Lease, Underwater Services, Con Brown Harbor Lease Proposal, Johnston Chandler, Con Brown Harbor Lease, Coast Point Company, Con Brown Harbor Lease, Aransas Marine Ways, City of Aransas Pass versus J.M. Davidson Ltd. RLI Insurance Company, and Naismith Engineering, cost number S-14-6278-CV-C in the 343rd District Court in San Patricio County, Texas. Section 551.074 to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment duties, discipline of dismissal of a public officer of employee, alternate municipal court judge. And we'll be back.
You had one more.
One more.
Actually, I have, yeah. one more.
Section 551.087 deliberations regarding economic development negotiations related to an RV park on Avenue A, Mark Marlowe. Okay, and we'll be back. It's at 7:23.
And he told me to rub the windshield with more snow. So I did, and it cleared it for just a couple of minutes, but then I couldn't see again, and I'm like,
Okay, here we go. We're gonna reconvene in open session to consider and take action, if any, on any item discussed in executive session at 8:50.
Okay, I make a motion to rescind the appointment of Luis Pena as alternate municipal court judge due to ineligibility.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.